He is perhaps best known for his coverage of the rise of Warren Buffett as the Omaha native became one of the world's most renowned investors. In addition to a weekly Buffett column, he wrote a book about Omaha's Oracle. And I'm pleased to turn the podium over to Mike Holmes, a former World-Herald colleague of Steve's, to introduce our 2018 Career Achievement honoree.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here to beg for mercy. 6 weeks ago, Steve asked me if I would do this introduction, and I said, sure, I'd be happy to. Send me a biography so I can get, I know Steve, we're friends, we go to football games, we play golf together, but send me, a biography so I know what to do. He did. There it is. So pretty much my remarks are shot. I have to now tell you what's not in here and what's between the lines. I've known Steve since dinosaurs roamed. He and I covered Teddy Roosevelt's first campaign. And so I can tell you a little bit about that. In 1964, a freshman at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Steve Jordon, walked up the stairs of the Student Union, downstairs to the offices of the Daily Nebraskan, and asked for a job. As best as I can tell, he had no qualifications whatsoever. The editor did see something, however, and offered him the stately sum of $12 a week. Steve took the job, and that was that. While he was at Lincoln, he found one other thing. A girl named Helen, who's up there tonight with him. And if you go to the campus today, Steve will still show you where her dorm room was. So I think she saw something more than $12 a week in Steve. In 1967, he had an internship at the World-Herald. After that, the paper asked him to be the campus reporter, which he did. After graduation, the paper offered him a job, which he took. And as best I can tell, that was the longest internship in World-Herald history. It lasted 50 years. Most of that time, as you've been told, that Steve worked in business news as a reporter and an editor. He built a reputation for fairness, accuracy, but he was also hard-nosed and tough. And he had the toughest assignment probably of anybody at the newspaper when the local billionaire, whom he had covered for years, bought the newspaper. Suddenly, Steve had to cover the boss. I wouldn't want that job. I don't think anybody would want that job, but Steve handled it absolutely straight down the line, never pulled a punch, and maintained his and the paper's integrity throughout. So it's my very great pleasure to introduce my friend and a colleague for years, Steve Jordon.
Thanks, Mike. Mike will tell you, he has a phrase called the cowboy way. If there's a 3-foot putt, you don't pick it up, you give it a shot. That's the cowboy way. And Mike his career has been the cowboy way all along, I think, with the AP and the World-Herald. I'd like to thank the President of the Foundation. I'm going to stick with the time here, which I accept on behalf of many long-time working journalists in the region. We are a committed bunch of people, and as I like to say, one of the few groups whose job is listed in the U.S. Constitution. Although it seems to be somewhat hidden these days, you can still find it under the First Amendment. At the time of this event and of my retirement last October, which was involuntary retirement, I might say, the art and science of journalism are in the midst of undergoing profound changes. Probably the biggest changes since the invention of the printing press. It's all enabled by technology that meets the public's long-held desire to find out things right away. No longer do they call the sports desk to find out how many home runs Roger Maris hit in 1961, and that 61 home runs, by the way. Seldom do they look for jobs in the classified ads. And more seriously, only some people rely on well-researched and informed political reporting to lead them to wise decisions in the voting booth. But as newspapers face what may be the last chapter in their existence, and the aforementioned technology wraps up the old media of journalism, I have a rare opportunity tonight to say something to a group of people who can be important in preserving our form of government, and enhancing our way of life. The students here this evening are this group, and I'd like to present them with 3 challenges as they start their careers in this business that we love. Number 1, don't fall into the trap of pandering to an audience to win approval, whether it's in the form of awards or promotions or a bigger job on a bigger stage. That's a pathway that leads to dishonesty and undermines the principles that have served this country well over the past 243 years. Don't believe that you can write or speak things that aren't true just because somebody else is balancing your biased viewpoint with opposing biased viewpoints. Number 2, envision your audience members as intelligent people who don't have the time or maybe the skills to dig out the truth on their own. Will Rogers, who was a newspaper man at heart, once said, "Everybody is ignorant, only on different subjects." And I might add, everybody is wise, only on different subjects as well. That's where you come in. Find out the information people need, present it to them clearly in the manner they want, and faithfully serve them throughout your career. In my experience, some of your readers know more than you do about any topic you report on. Respect them and inform them of what's new. Number 3, don't take the role of independent, authoritative journalist for granted. It'll take hard work and dedication on your part to be able to stand here or some other place like this 50 years from now as an aged former journalist trying to inspire another generation. You can do it, but it won't be easy. I believe you recognize that, and I congratulate you for what you have done so far and for the courage to take on these challenges. Now get out there and finish the job, and remember another bit of Will Rogers' philosophy. Do the best you can and don't take it too serious. Thank you.